Welcome to the launch of Operation Incognito. My name is Arielle Thompson. I am the Public Information Officer for the Tennessee Highway Safety Office. And today, the THSO is partnering with various agencies across the state to execute this campaign. I would like to thank the media for coming out here today and also to thank our partners in attendance. Of course, Metro Nashville Police Department, thank you for hosting and helping to lead this initiative. The Tennessee Department of Safety and Homeland Security, Tennessee Highway Patrol, Nashville We Go Public Transit, TriStar Skyline Medical Center, Vanderbilt University Medical Center, the Tennessee Department of Transportation, Tennessee Trucking Association, the Tennessee District Attorneys General Conference, Tennessee Motor Vehicle Commission, AAA, the Auto Club Group, Metro Nashville Airport Authority, Department of Safety Division, and of course we have our THSO team, management team here with us as well, so thank you everyone for attending. The primary focus of Operation Incognito is to educate the public and reduce distracted driving crashes. April 8th through the 12th, law enforcement agencies across the state will increase enforcement to combat distracted driving. This week is also National Work Zone Awareness Week. We want to remind Tennesseans to always drive focused, but move over when traveling through these construction zones. Let's work together to keep everyone safe across Tennessee roadways. So at this time, I'd like to introduce our next speaker, who is the Chief of Staff for the Tennessee Department of Safety and Homeland Security, Terry Ash.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. That was me you heard backing up over a while ago. You know, this is important because as I look out amongst everyone who's present, I see success. And that's what we're trying to achieve with this. So we'll read these prepared remarks, and I want to share something with you. One of the main priorities of Tennessee Department of Safety and Homeland Security is to ensure that Tennesseans are safe and secure on our roadways. Distracted driving has become the most dangerous cause of traffic accidents in our state, and quite frankly, across the nation. It is imperative that we do our job to enforce the no texting while driving law and educate the public about the risk associated with distracted driving. Excuse me. The Tennessee Highway Safety Office has this problem very much in hand and takes this very seriously. THSO has been diligently seeking ways to help change the behaviors of our drivers who choose to drive distracted. Operation Incognito driving bus tour has been a huge success. It continues to grow by adding new partners, as you can see, medical and other folks, to help increase the awareness and the message. I'd like to thank all of our state and local partners for participating in this life-saving initiative. And I want to say this to you this morning, especially to the law enforcement community. We are embarking upon new territory. We know this has been a serious problem for a decade. But we cannot solve this through legislation by itself. We cannot solve this through enforcement by ourselves. We cannot solve this through technology by itself. We cannot do this through education by itself. We have to somehow or another make this a self-awareness motivated thing amongst ourselves. But all those things together is what we're doing here today, is doing our best to make sure we put all those resources together. As I drove in this morning in the rain, and I'm not saying anything to anybody that hadn't seen it, people were texting all around me on I-40. And I would dare say this to be the truth. Every one of us here, no matter what roads we drive every day now, we're concerned about the car that we're meeting. At least I am. So I think I'm like the rest of y'all. So we got an opportunity to make a difference in this state. The Tennessee Department of Safety and Homeland Security and our THSO Foundation, we need your help. And we need to help the people of Tennessee to drive safely and be secure to get home to their families in one piece, because this is a dangerous issue and it's taken way under too many lives. Thank you again for being here. God bless you.
Our next speaker at this time will be the Colonel of the Tennessee Highway Patrol, Derek Stuart.
Thank you, and good morning to everyone. I want to thank you all for being here. This is a very, very important initiative, and I'm very thankful for you to be here. It is very important to note that distracted driving is not a problem for law enforcement alone. It is a cultural issue that affects us all. Each of us has this issue, and each of us have to deal with it appropriately. It is an issue where society simply has to say, enough is enough. There are many types of distracted driving, and there's various forms of distraction that occurs each and every day. Just this morning, as I was driving in the rain, there was a young lady that was in full-fledged makeup mode. She had no hands on the steering wheel, yet she had her compact and her brush, and she was putting her makeup on as she was driving in this morning. As drivers, we have a real tremendous responsibility to eliminate these types of distractions and to simply drive the vehicles. Issuing citations alone will not correct or eliminate the problem of distracted driving. We must all take responsibility by silencing our phones or placing them on do not disturb while driving. The risk is just too great, and the consequences can be either life or death. In Tennessee, we have averaged nearly 25,000 distracted driving crashes over the past 3 years. But most shocking, we have experienced greater than 125% increase in these types of crashes since 2008. On average, more than 50 people die on the roadways of Tennessee each year due to distracted driving. Enough is enough. This data is not exactly 100% accurate, though, simply because drivers typically will not tell on themselves and admit that they were driving distracted. But we can tell you between 2010 and 2018, we have had at least 196,611 distracted driving crashes to occur in Tennessee. These are the crashes that we know of. President Abraham Lincoln once said, "You cannot change human behavior, but you can change human action." You can change his action by doing so, by changing the thinking that generated that behavior. When was the last time you saw a person smoking on an airplane, or smoking in a restaurant next to you, or even smoking in a cubicle next to you while you work? You ask that question, I dare say you'll be hard-pressed to think of a time that has occurred recently. But I ask you this question: when was the last time that you looked in the vehicle next to you and you saw a driver that was distracted? You saw a driver that was texting. We need the same type of cultural movement to stop distracted driving, just like the movement that's banned the smoking indoors has achieved so far. This is not a law enforcement issue alone. It is a societal issue and cultural issue that we must address together. Traffic safety should be on everybody's radar as we all share the roads together. We're asking you to help us to make Tennessee safe. Thank you.
Our next speaker is the Public Information Officer for We Go Public Transit, Amanda Cleland.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. I'm proud to be here on behalf of We Go Public Transit to contribute to this important conversation on the dangers of distracted driving and the potential solutions that are available to reduce the trend and save lives. We are in a truly unique position in history, with technology being fairly widely accessible and available in various forms that makes it possible for us to be connected anywhere and at all times. And while that's an incredible feat of communication and connectivity, it also creates an unprecedented demand of us. We need to answer that phone call, respond to that text message, or send that email while we're driving and sitting in traffic to maximize our time. And unfortunately, it's those good intentions of multitasking that often lead to tragedy. I'm not going to stand here and share statistics about distracted driving and accidents that occur on Tennessee's interstates and highways and roadways, because there are experts among us here this morning that can offer those accounts with far more authority than I can. But what I can speak to is a resource that is available and accessible to everyone in Nashville and Davidson County that can allow you to multitask in your daily commute safely, be it a phone call to arrange for a babysitter, a text message to check in with your best friend, finishing up a spreadsheet on the way home in the afternoon, or checking out the latest developments on Twitter. And that resource is sitting just outside, and it's your city bus. Public transit isn't just a means of moving large numbers of people efficiently through a corridor to reduce the number of vehicles on the road or to cut emissions. It's also a safe means of transportation for people in a world that demands so much of our attention. Buses, like those that WeGo operates, often have amenities on board that can actually help facilitate a rider's need to multitask, such as USB charging ports or Wi-Fi on board. And most importantly, those buses have a bus operator who is focused at the task at hand, driving, so that you, as the rider, can take the seat or can take care of the things that you need to from your seat. With the average bus being able to accommodate 30 passengers, that's not just 30 cars that aren't on the road. It's also 30 potentially distracted drivers who are now free to work and just take a break from the day on social media so that they and all of the other riders on the road can arrive safely at their destinations. We're proud to be partners with the Tennessee Highway Safety Office on Operation Incognito because public transportation is a logical solution to the ever-pervasive issue of distracted driving in Tennessee. We're here to connect you to your lives and communities safely, even if you never look up from your phone. Thank you.
Thank you. WeGo Public Transit is actually providing transportation for today's bus tour, so we're very thankful to have them as a partner. Our final speaker will be Dr. Roger Nagy. He is a trauma surgeon for TriStar Skyline Medical Center.
Thank you very much, everyone, for being here today. This is an incredible program. We were here just in November, and we're doing it again in the spring. And I think it really does highlight everything everyone has said. The need for us to pay attention, the need for us to operate a vehicle as though we were operating what it is. It's a potentially deadly machine, and I think I can speak for both the high-level trauma centers here in Nashville, but also for across the state. It is our number one cause of severe traumatic injuries. This year, falls actually at most trauma centers exceeded motor vehicle accidents as the number one cause of admissions to the hospital, specifically to a trauma center. But the number one cause of high-level injuries remains motor vehicle accidents. And as the colonel was saying, seeing people putting on their makeup, I would hate to get on an airplane and see my pilot putting on makeup or eating his muffin and getting ready to take off. Although a lot of attention is given to dramatic accidents that can occur in the airline industry, this industry, far more people are injured in motor vehicle crashes every year. And I'd like to say a couple things about distracted driving. It's not just texting. Some folks would say, well, I can talk on the phone and pay as much attention to what I'm doing, to my driving at hand, as I can if I'm sitting with someone next to me and we're having a conversation. And that frankly isn't true. Distracted driving is just being on the cell phone. They've done many studies that have shown when you're having a conversation in an automobile, there are other people in the car. There are other people paying attention to what's around you. And so there are cues, nonverbal cues and verbal cues to the things that are happening. When you get in a deep conversation on the telephone, while you're driving, you don't have those cues. So you're sitting there talking to someone that's something that's probably very important, but you don't have the people around you being able to pay attention, to cue you in that things may be changing, that you need to watch what's going on. And so I think all those points are to say we need to just pay attention when we're driving. It's a horrible thing when we see the number of people that come in, and even the relatively minor accidents, not necessarily someone that was killed, but the broken bones, the loss of work, the loss of family time, and then of course the dramatic accidents that happen that I'm sure all of us would love to never have to see or be out of a job from that perspective. That would be fantastic. So this program is so important. I absolutely agree. It has to be a culture change. We have to decide as a society that this is just not acceptable. Writing citations, having law enforcement on the front line of this is important, but all of us being committed to just not doing it anymore. It's kind of like wearing your seatbelt. It seems odd when you see someone not having their seatbelt on. At least it seems odd and uncomfortable to me. We need to make that the same feeling across the state and across the country for distracted driving, whether it's texting, phones, putting on your makeup, eating, whatever it might be. So again, just appreciate everyone being here. We're excited to be a part of this. Thank you very much.